Okay, what happened next? We ended this morning with Prahalad Maharaj concluding his dissertation on bhakti, Vairagya Vijnana Bhakti Yoga, and the conclusion, well, the two conclusions, the two verses that we covered, of all the different methods of becoming free from material entanglement, the best method is that which is directly given by the personality of Godhead, and which results in devotion to his lotus feet. So he then concludes, let's take shelter of the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes, who is all pervasive, and is the best friend of every living entity. Let's take shelter there. And the students really liked it. We already had the end of chapter 6. It was, wow, where'd you learn? And then he just a whole other 55 verses spoken by Prahalad, describing how he learned and further elaborating on what he learned, concluding with knowledge and detachment and pure devotion. All the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahalad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by their teachers, Shanda and Amarka. Now we often say, they were engaged in kirtan. Doesn't specifically say that, but that's the indication of this wonderful painting. So, but that they had become devotees, fixed, convinced, strong. And Shanda and Amarka came to understand, not that someone is polluting Prahalad, but Prahalad is polluting all the others. And they've all become polluted. They've all become devotees of the enemy. They were very alarmed, very afraid. So they went directly to Hiranyakashipu, told him everything, and he flew into a rage. Now previously, in chapter 5, we heard that he ordered Prahalad to be killed. Now he's deciding, I'll do it myself. I'm the most powerful. Who has he not defeated? On and on and on, he's defeated everybody. Similar like Ravana, defeated everybody. And Hiranyakashipu was even, in one sense, it was a previous yuga, so his stature was bigger and his power was bigger. There's this nice description. I'm just going to be covering 10 verses, so I'm going to be explaining, just going a little bit this way, that way, in the course of this. There's one of the authorized, authentic, Vaishnava-accepted versions of Ramayana gives the following description, that when Ram, Lakshman, and the Vanaras and Vibhishan all crossed the ocean and were invading Lanka, Ravana was confident of his being victorious because he was a king of demons. But for reassurance purposes, because one of the things that demons do is they make alliance with other demons. So he began to consider who amongst the Daitya clan is really powerful. Bali Maharaj. So he went to the abode of Bali Maharaj. Vamana was at the gate of Bali Maharaj's kingdom because he made this pledge to Bali, I'll be at your gate, won't let improper people in. There's different versions what happened. One of them was Vamana just kicked him and he went flying. Couldn't enter. Another version is that Vamana just laughed at him. Said, you're a fool. I'll give you entrance. And Bali will teach you a lesson. Go right ahead. In that version, he went to Bali and flattered him because that's part of the protocol of what you do when you want somebody to do something for you. And he said, I want your help. You're powerful, this and that and the other thing. And I want your help. And Bali said, before I respond to your request, I know you're very fond of gold. Come with me. Took him to a place and there was a mountain of gold. And said, if you like, you can just take it with you. Take it back to Lanka, it's yours. But you have to lift it to take it back. You know, Ravana was able to lift Mount Kailash single-handedly. Didn't need an army, he just didn't need a forklift. He just lifted, very powerful. He lifted and strained, and he couldn't lift the mountain of gold. And Bali said, you know why? Prior to your becoming Ravana, you were Hiranyakashipu. And when Hiranyakashipu was killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, the same Vishnu that you want to have a battle with, when he was killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, one of his earrings fell. That's his earring. You're a fool. Go back to Lanka and meet your death. How powerful was Hiranyakashipu? But Prahalad was fearless and more powerful. So he hadn't yet attempted to kill him himself. Now he's determined to kill him himself. Now it's a detail, but when Narada Muni stopped Indra from taking Kayadu, he said, within her womb is a great soul. In fact, he's a pure devotee. And even if you tried, you won't be able to kill him. Because the Lord will protect him. So instead, entrust her to me. So, in a rage of simultaneous fear and anger. So this is, you know, it's not prema, not Krishna prema, but it's intensified feelings towards the personality of Godhead. He is, you know, very Krishna conscious. Inimical, but very Krishna conscious. So the text says, very angry, he approached Prahalad oh, most impudent, most unintelligent. It's like part of the program. You disrespect others. Disrupter of the family, lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I will send you to the place of Yamaraj. Good luck. My son Prahalad, you rascal, you know that when I am angry, all the planets in the three worlds tremble along with their chief rulers, by whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you. In the purport, Prabhupada refers to this Kim Bala. How have you overcome my order? By whose strength have you done this? Kim Bala. Whose strength? Well, Prahalad is very clear, and he tells it like it is. My dear king, the source of my strength of which you are asking is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength, whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the one that gave him the benediction, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just what he wanted to hear, right? Unless one understands this philosophy, he is still a mudha. Now, Prabhupada was sometimes criticized or cautioned. Don't speak like that. But he would, on the authority of Krishna said, would say. There's a little video clip of a scene in Los Angeles. Those of you that have been to the Los Angeles temple, you know Prabhupada's quarters is, as you're looking at the temple, it's over on the right. And way over on the left, behind where the kitchen area is, there was a garden. Nice garden. It was a sitting place where Prabhupada would receive people because the weather in Los Angeles is very nice. So Prabhupada had a nice seat and people had chairs and, made comfortable. So this particular video clip is Prabhupada seated with Stills and Judah and this professor, that professor, the other professor, well-educated people sitting at Prabhupada's feet. And the video clip says, Swamiji, why do you use this word rascal? You could say, not intelligent, or something a little more pleasant. Something like that. Not exactly, I don't remember exactly. And then Prabhupada said, rascal is the summation of unintelligent. It's the right, and smiled, and he laughed, and they laughed. And now these are scholars that, just like this other comment, people that have knowledge, they become proud. And Prabhupada was calling them, or their peers that don't accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as mudha. Those exactly here. Unless one understands this philosophy, he is still a mudha. Not very intelligent. The mudhas, the asses, who do not have this intelligence, cannot surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's going to appeal to his Father, give up the Buddha mentality and become surrendered to the personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. This is the absolute truth. The absolute truth meaning the source of everything, and you can't name something that doesn't come from the source of the source of everything. There are two things. Krishna, Prabhupada. Two things, Krishna and Krishnas. And there's not a third thing within the creation of God. That's the absolute truth. So the rhetorical question is, well, if that's God, then where does God come from? There is no where God comes from. There's no where the source of everything comes from. The source of everything is the source of everything, and there's no prior source. Asamurdva is a phrase that Prabhupada would use. I've looked it up many times and still haven't been able to find where it comes from. Sama, urdhva. Sama means equal. Urdhva means greater. There's no one equal or greater. Advaita Chandra is looking to see if he can find Asamurdva. See if you can find it. Yeah, why not? You won't find it, I'll tell you. If you find it, I'd like to hear it. But he used the term all the time. You know, God, or Krishna, it has no equal and there's no one greater. It's another way of saying absolute. He's absolutely absolute. There isn't another absolute. He's the absolute. That absolute in the Vedic sense of the pratishta of everything. Or the, as we heard, matak paratram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. He's the base. He is from him is everything, and there isn't something. So, where is the power coming from? Everything is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Father, please, give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. There's that term again. Make your mind equipoised toward everyone, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind. There is no enemy within the world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, then one comes to the position of worshiping the Lord perfectly. He's teaching the mode and the way of pure devotional service. My dear devotees, this is the mode and the way. Not just conceptually or notionally, or we say yes, but we carry that consciousness, we conduct our lives. That's how deeply it needs to go. Read carefully. I know you read carefully. Read carefully again. The purport of the Vyavasayatmika Bodhi verse, 241 Bhagavad Gita. Twice, Prabhupada says, The highest perfection of life is to go beyond the bodily conception of life. Then at the end, to such a degree, there's not even a chance of being attracted by the materialist activities in pursuit of sense gratification. Not even a chance. Squeaky clean, completely beyond. That's the platform of devotional service that Prahalad is encouraging. So that one can come to Shuddha Bhakti. Time and place, discreetly, he spoke some strong words to his brother. You're living like a dog. Living off the scraps of Bhima, who killed your son. Have you no honor and dignity? Where are you going? You're attached to the temporary. Now, in that section, there are stages of detachment that are outlined. And knowing the capacity of Dhritarashtra, he couldn't go to the topmost position, the Narottam, Nara Uttama position, topmost person. But at least give up this attachment in the negative sense. Go to your mind upon the personality of Godhead. It got through. It was very powerful and went through. And he went to the forest. And he was actually, Dhritarashtra was very qualified, very powerful. He sat down in the forest, and the strength of his intense meditation, his body burst into flames. Who can do that? He knew the art, and he did it. He was previously attached to the concept that I'm the king, even my sons are dead, I'll rule through my nephews. I'm the king. You're at the fag end of your life, your teeth are falling out, your liver is rotten, going, you're about gone. Get out. Now, Prahalad was saying to his teachers, to the very first lesson, go to the forest. And worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That was to his father, the very part of his lessons. Now he's saying the same thing more detailed and more eloquently, but give up your demoniac mentality and be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But to do that, purely, you have to give up this friend-enemy program. In the purport to this verse, Prabhupada is discussing the method of controlling the mind is bhakti. And otherwise it's incomplete. The Bhagavatam teaches us in multiple places. One can go up by some process, but because of the modes of material nature, down. That was Prahalad. He stayed, even in the midst of all of this. The position of perfect worship, the personality of Godhead, beyond the bodily conception, with mind and senses control. Adanta Gobir, senses uncontrolled. This is the bona fide process for controlling the mind is to fix the mind in service to the Lord. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind. But actually, there are no enemies and friends like this sleeping and happiness and distress. Friends and enemies, it's the mind. Pandita Samadarshana, This is the purport. To understand this is the preliminary condition for entering the kingdom of devotional service. Samak sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. It's a Bhagavad Gita message and shared here again. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time on this last sentence, because this is our friends and enemies topic, which is, okay, well, there's one more verse. It's verse number 10, sorry. In former times there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies. Last time. And there are people that hold enmity towards others. That's a reality.